All right, back to these Obama clips, and maybe some you've forgotten. Then we're going to give you a chance to vote on them, and we're going to do a bracket situation with, 64 of these? I think we've got a
we probably
whole
have
NCAA tournament full.
All right, this should be fun.
So here's another one.
There have been times where America's shown arrogance and been dismissive. Even derisive.
No, not both.
We're arrogant. We're dismissive. We're derisive. Now, I obviously, America's not perfect. But you don't want your president going overseas and bad-mouthing your country to those people to pander to them. And that's what he did. And that's what he does on a regular basis.
What was the word that rhymed with derisive?
Dismissive. Yeah.
I mean, there's no need. No need for that.
No need. Here's another little glimpse into who he is, and it's that whole racial prism thing. This is racial prism.
You're doing it again.
Really?
You sound drunk again.
No, I thought I was fine there.
Okay, no.
All right.
Whether you are a white executive living out in the suburbs who doesn't want to pay taxes to inner city children.
Now, this is interesting on a couple of notes. Because I didn't realize that white executives paid their taxes to inner city children.
No, it's not how it works.
It's not?
It's funny because
so they don't?
That's how a progressive sees it.
Yeah.
There's no inefficiency of government.
Right.
Rich people just give their money and it goes directly to poor people.
This is his mindset, man. This is just, that's why it pisses me off so much when people say, oh, you just don't like him because he's black. There's no indication of any of what you say is true, that he's a socialist or he's a racist or any of these. Listen to his frame of reference here. If you're a white executive who doesn't want to pay taxes, you don't want to pay them to inner city children. To black children is what he's talking about. Because whenever you say inner city, that's code for black kids. So don't give me any of this crap that he doesn't see things through a racial prism. It's nonsense. He does. Read his book. Listen to his words. Listen to this again.
Whether you are a white executive living out in the suburbs who doesn't want to pay taxes to inner city children.
Wow.
For them to go to school.
For them
to go to school.
That's how heartless you are. If you don't want to pay taxes, fine. So inner city kids can go to school.
And the top thing on the Republican agenda is getting rid of public education. I mean, you've seen that over and over again. They want to just close down all the public schools.
Ryan Bland wants to do that.
Okay.
And first of all, this wouldn't be first. We're about fifth of all probably now. Mm-hmm. When you live out in the suburbs and you pay taxes that go to a school system, those are property taxes, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not even paying them to the inner city. You're paying them in the district in which you live.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to pay property taxes, those go to your school district out in the suburbs. Mm-hmm. Your money doesn't go to the inner city district anyway.
No.
This is just BS from start to finish. It's such it's idiocy.
Or you are a inner city child who doesn't want to take responsibility for keeping your streets safe and clean.
Okay. Little shot there.
Both of those groups have to take some responsibility if we're going to get beyond the kinds of divisions that we face right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the way to cure division, is to make those analogies. Hey, if you're a white guy who hates black kids,
or you're a black kid who won't clean up your neighborhood,
then we need to get over those divisions. No, I don't. That's not the way. Yeah. By pointing out how evil white people are, or that, I love the equivalency there too. Well, either if you're a white guy who wants to starve black kids, or if you're a black kid that doesn't pick up the litter in their neighborhood.
Yes. That was the equivalency. That's
great.
All right. This was some good news, though, we heard from him.
Then they wanted a fence.
Yeah, they did. Mm-hmm.
The fence is...
Oh, no fence, please. No.
The fence is now basically complete.
Well, if by basically complete you mean 5%, yes, you're exactly right.
Basically complete, though.
Basically, 95% not done. It's almost done.
Mm-hmm.
Am I right?
Yeah.
Who's
totally
with me on that?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Everybody's with me. And then we found out this during the healthcare debate, and this shocked us to our core when we found out about these doctors.
If a family care physician works with his or her patient to help them lose weight, modify diet, monitors whether they're taking their medications in a timely fashion,
right,
they might get reimbursed a pittance.
Maybe.
But if that same diabetic ends up getting their foot amputated, that's $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. Immediately, the surgeon is reimbursed.
I can't believe the guy said this. That is so asinine.
Unbelievable.
That wasn't the only thing, though, right?
No, there was this.
And you come in, and you've got a bad sore throat. Mm-hmm. Or your child has a bad sore throat, or has repeated sore throats.
Yeah.
The doctor may look at the reimbursement system and say to himself, you know what? I make a lot more money if I take this kid's tonsils out.
That's right. Or he might look at your tonsils and say, okay, he's got bad tonsils, but I'm going to cut off his feet because that makes me even more money.
Yeah, because you make 30, 40 grand for that.
Or he might just send you off with a pain pill.
All right, what do we got
Only
next?
if you're old, though.
Oh, yeah.
Only if you're old.
We're getting down to the end. I'd like to get through this list if we can.
I would, too.
All right,
Are
let's
you trying
just-
to speed this along?
Yeah,
Is
let's
that
try
what
to
you were
speed it
saying?
along.
All right, here's where you said something I agree with.
If I don't have this done in 3 years, then there's going to be a one-term proposition.
Excellent. All right, next.
Interestingly, he doesn't say that anymore, however.
No.
This is not a one-term proposition any longer.
Has anyone asked him about that yet?
Not that I know
I
of.
feel like somebody did fairly recently. Can you see if you can find that, Natasha? I thought somebody asked him about that.
All right,
Okay.
here was his classic Israeli situation with our allies.
We believe the borders of Israel and Palestine should be based on the 1967 lines with mutually agreed swaps,
That's what we believe.
so that secure and recognized borders are established for both states.
Okay, so Israel should go back to their 67 border. I mean, that's amazing. Then on November 2nd, 2009, he said this.
We have pulled the economy back from the brink. We got good news last week showing that for the first time in over a year, the economy was actually growing.
So let me ask you this. They no longer say it's back from the brink, but they said they pulled the economy back from the brink, so how are we now back at the brink again when it's Bush's fault? And if that happened, you know, where they say we're still not there, we're not done yet, we're not. Well, you pulled it back from the brink. How are you then? Because so you undid the Bush problem, right? You undid all the damage he had done.
Mm-hmm.
So why are we still talking about that damage when you already pulled us back from that damage?
Yeah. I mean, it's
Something happened in the meantime.
Right.
That's your fault, right?
Yeah. And speaking of
Logically.
Bush comparisons quickly,
Yeah.
George H.W. Bush, at this time during his reelection process, had an unemployment rate of 7.1%, and his approval rating on the economy was 18%.
Oh, my gosh. 18%.
Now, currently, you have a president who has an approval rating, which sucks still, but is at, I think, 36% on the economy, and the unemployment rate is more than a point higher. All right, it's perplexing. It's
really
perplexing.
Is. It
All
really is. And this is after this was during the Tea Party rallies, and he was addressing those, and they were asking him about the attitude of the Tea Party people and why they were protesting him.
You would think they would be saying thank you. That's what you'd think.
No, that's not what I
No.
think, is that the Tea Party people should be saying thank you, Mr. President, for destroying our country. No. Then there was this very, very presidential moment.
I need you to go out and talk to your friends and talk to your neighbors. I want you to talk to them whether they're independent or whether they are Republican. I want you to argue with them and get in their face. And
Oh,
if they tell you that, well, we're not sure where he stands on guns, I want you to say he believes in the Second Amendment. If they tell you, well, he's going to raise your taxes, you say, no, he's not, he's going to lower them.
so get in their faces.
That's exactly why his approval rating is still up, because he lies.
Yeah.
They
he
just
does.
lie.
He just lies.
Really
How does
true.
it work, though? That's the question. How does it work?
Incredible.
How stupid are we?